So Hector, again, do you want to sort of be the MC? Do you want me to jump in? What do you want to do?
I can do it.
Okay, I'm just going to kick right to you then. So we're now live on YouTube, and I am about to start the webinar. Okay, we're live.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Hector Dominguez. I'm here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office. You literally could be anywhere else in the world doing literally anything else, but you're here with us this evening. So we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your grace to be with us. We have a full night of information for you. We have the one, the only, the assessor himself, Rich K. He's going to be on here with us a little bit later. You can see him now. And we also have with us a special guest from the 10th Ward from Alderman Garza's office. We have Sandy, the Director of Outreach and Creative Design. Meaning she is the brain behind all the colors, all the branding, all the marketing, all the social media stuff for Alderman Garza. So, Sandy, did you want to say anything before we jump in, or do you want us to just go right ahead?
I just want to say really quickly that I'm from the 10th Alderman's office. My name is Sandy. I'll be in here at the session as well, hopefully participating with you guys from the 10th Ward who are also interested in learning whatever the Assessor's Office has to offer in terms of appeals and exemptions. And if you need to reach me, I'm going to put one of our contacts and our 10th Ward email in the chat in case you need reach me afterwards, in case you need assistance from our office regarding this or anything 10th Ward related. You can reach me at Ward 10. I'll put that in the chat right now. And then thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before we do anything else, ladies and gentlemen, please, I don't know what type of person you are, but I'm the type where if I have something to say and I don't get it out, I will forget. So in order to avoid all of that, we do have a Q&A section. We have a chat section and we have a Q&A section. Please write any and all questions that you have at any time during this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on rerun, we can still answer these questions. Go ahead and write your question in the Q&A, so when that portion of the night comes, we can answer your question. So without any further ado, I am going to share my screen and I am going to introduce the one, the only, the illustrious Assessor K. What's up, boss?
All right, Hector. Well, I'm glad to be here in the one and only and illustrious 10th Ward. I'm sorry that we're not here with you in person. I love being down there in the ward. Alderman Sadowski Garza has been a terrific partner in helping us reach out to you, connect with you, make sure that you're well served and that the ward is well served by our property tax system. I wanted to thank Sandy for being here tonight. She's going to help make sure that the event goes well. And I have a lot of my colleagues here with you to give you the information that you need to make sure that you're getting everything that you need out of the assessor's office and that you're only paying your fair share of property taxes. What are we going to do tonight? First of all, I want to give you some information that will help you be a better citizen by understanding how assessments fit in with the larger property tax system and make sure that the assessment system is serving you and your community. And so assessments are interconnected. This is one of the things I'll talk about tonight. And I just want to make sure that you have that understanding. And then Hector is going to lead the part where he helps you navigate the system so that you're getting all the exemptions that you need and you're entitled to, and make sure that your assessment's fair so that you're only paying your fair share of the property tax system. Together, we want to leave you with some good knowledge. Before we get in, we just want to thank you for being with us here tonight. We know there's so many different places that you could be. You guys everyone is working hard. We're overcoming a lot in this challenging time. We're sorry we can't be with you. I'd love to come down to the 10th Ward and get the wonderful food and just soak in the ambiance on Ewing Street. I'd love to be in the 10th Ward, all the different neighborhoods, and we hope we can see you in person next time. But in the meantime, we're going to give you some good information here. So stay tuned. So the first part is we are sending out assessments for Hyde Park Township. And I know that must be like a head scratcher right there. What are assessments? Assessments is what our office does. We estimate the value of buildings. And we do this every 3 years. And right now we're about to wrap up Chicago. And this place, Hyde Park Township, is the last one that we're doing. I can practically hear what you're saying. Well, I don't live in Hyde Park. Hyde Park Township is this term of reference for a larger geographic area, a big part of Chicago. It not only includes Hyde Park neighborhood, but includes many other neighborhoods on the south side. In fact, it's all the south side areas, south of Pershing, east of State, all the way to the lake and the border, and all the way to the southern edge of the city. So that's all the 10th ward, plus several other wards in there. It includes not only the Hyde Park neighborhood, but it includes all the neighborhoods in the 10th ward. Hegwish, the Bush, East Side, South Deering, all of them. And so we want to make sure that our assessments are appropriate for you, your house, and for those of you, your neighbors around you. And so that's why we're here today. Now, the thing that I want to leave you with about assessments in this area tonight is, first of all, our assessments are supposed to be a snapshot in time of the value of buildings, and we do that every 3 years. And this year we're doing it in Chicago. And this area of Chicago is the last one to go. And it's as of January 1st, 2021, not 2022, 2021. And those assessments are supposed to reflect the market value of houses, of commercial real estate, of all the different buildings in Chicago. So that's what we're doing this year. This is the first year in our administration that we've done Chicago. We spent the previous 2 years focused on the suburbs, and now we have Chicago. And so this is very important. The first thing that you should know is that everyone's assessment is interconnected. It's not only important that your assessment be right, but that the assessments of others be right too, because you're all sharing in the tax burden together. It's not okay if your assessment is accurate, but a wide swath of properties are underassessed, because that means that you'll be paying more of the tax burden than you should, will be out of proportion from your share of proper assessed value. So we have been trying to correct that. And that's why we're talking about, and that's why it's important to know about not only your own assessment, but folks in your community and elsewhere in the city. And because assessments are interconnected, that leads to another important point that we want you to remember. A change in your assessment does not entail the same change in your property taxes. I know it's when you see an assessment in the mail that might be up 10 or 20%, that you might think that that would mean your taxes are up that amount. Not the case. You can actually have a case, and there are many people who are in this situation where the assessment goes up, but the bill goes down. And that's because what is really relevant is the interconnection with other assessments. It's your share of total assessed value that matters. So if your assessed value goes up less than total assessed value in the city, your tax bill might go down. So that's an important thing we want to leave with you, so you can understand what it means when your assessment goes up. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Here on the map, by the way, if we just go back to the map, you can see the prices that we see that we're estimating for homes in different parts of Hyde Park Township. You can see up on the top left, that is Hyde Park and Kenwood and some of South Shore, where prices are higher. And then you can see down in the bottom right-hand corner, what things are looking like in the 10th ward. We see most homes being under $250,000, although there are some exceptions in certain parts of it. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Here on the right-hand side, you can see a chart of average housing prices that have been paid over the last several years. Now, reminder, this is across the giant swath of the south side, Hyde Park Township. So it's not only ones in your neighborhood, but includes other ones there. You can see that prices have been generally lower than in the rest of Chicago, but steadily rising. People like to see good value for the money, and that's what people see on the south side. You can see that in 2020, the median sales price of a home was $150,000 for a single family home and $170,000 for condos. You can see the range that we estimate is between $95,000 and $140,000 for single family homes, $120,000 and $180,000 for condos in that middle third. And the key question when you have an assessment is, did we estimate the value of the home correctly in line with the market? And that's what you should check when you get your assessment notice. Is that market price that we put in there in line with what you think you could sell it for today? If it's not, which is quite possible because we're trying to value so many different homes, we want to help you get it corrected through the appeals process. And that deadline is coming up. It's January 21st. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Here, we want to give you some of that context I mentioned. Assessments are interconnected, and so it's important to know what's going on with other people's assessments. And here we have how you see homeowners share the burden changing in Hyde Park Township, this giant swath of the south side. You can see that homeowners are going from 64% of the burden in 2018 to 58% in 2021 in the first round of assessments that we have sent out. This is continuing a trend that we see in the rest of the city. In most of the city, we're seeing homeowners having a smaller share of the overall tax base and share of the burden. Why is that? Actually, homeowners' assessments are growing overall, but commercial properties are growing more. And so commercial properties are growing in share of the burden, homeowners are declining. And if you want the intuition behind why that's happening, we've found that many commercial assessments in the previous administration were lower, systematically lower than market values. And we've corrected for that. We've narrowed the gap. So that's why commercial properties are rising more. What we see across Chicago is about a 10 percentage point decline in homeowners' share of the burden. Through the first round of assessments, we will be getting appeals in our office. That's what we're talking about here tonight. There will be other opportunities for people to appeal another body of government, the Cook County Board of Review. That will further change the picture a little bit, but I want you to know that this trend is what we've seen in the last 3 years in Chicago and across the suburbs too. I know a lot of you love to dig into the numbers, and if not just the numbers, you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood. So what you can do is go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com, click through the data section of the website and then valuation reports, and you can go and see what's going on by looking at different neighborhoods within Hyde Park Township. There will be a neighborhood code on your assessment notice that you can
Is it just me or did the assessor freeze, Hector?
I think he froze, but
Okay.
I can jump in.
Okay, as you guys can see, he's in a temporary WeWork space, so not sure what the Wi-Fi is like there. He'll probably be back in. He was nearing the end of the data portion anyway, so it looks like he's dropped off. He'll probably jump back in. But yeah, keep it going from here, Hector, if you want to start on the appeals content.
Absolutely. So as the assessor, what he was about to go into was the responsibility of the assessor's office. So we have about 220-ish employees, and we're responsible for reassessing, putting a value using a mass appraisal system to almost 2 million different properties. So how do we do that? We do that by using the mass appraisal system. And that allows us to do this job more effectively and efficiently and transparently. Having transparency. Pretty sure I just made up a word earlier, but doesn't matter. You understood what I said. Also, so that is one way for us to kind of have a checks and balances on our assessment, the values that we give to different properties. And another way for you to have a way to affect your tax bill would be the exemptions, right? A way for you to say, hey guys, I am this age, or I've been living here for this amount of years, or I meet this type of criteria. So we're going to talk about all of that in a second, but you guys are being reassessed. You guys had 30 days. Hyde Park had 30 days, just like every other township in Cook County when it gets reassessed, to file the appeal. Your deadline is Friday. So in 2 days, the 21st of January. So please, please, please get your appeals in on time. A reassessment notice looks like this on the left-hand side. It is white, it is black and gray. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This just lets you know what we believe your property is worth from our office, right? If we are close, you know what you bought your home for, you know what your home is worth. If we are close, then awesome. If we are not, then you definitely want to appeal. But I see that the assessor is back on. So boss, did you want to jump back in, or you want to just hang out into the Q&A?
I think let's hang on to the Q&A. I think I got most of the information out that people needed. People know that there's more information they can get on the website if they need it. And the Q&A is the best part, so I don't want to steal that. Take it away, Hector.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, sir. On the right-hand side, you have a second installment tax bill. So you get 2 tax bills a year. You get a blue one when it's cold outside. You get a yellow one when it's warm outside. The blue one is the first installment tax bill. It has 0 exemptions or discounts on it, and it is 55% of the previous year's total tax bill. The yellow bill, the one that's released when it's warmer outside, is your second installment tax bill. This has any deduction from exemptions and any reduction from an appeal. Now, there are multiple reasons why a taxpayer may want to appeal. I'm going to go over the 3 most common. The first one, lack of uniformity. This just means that myself, Sandy, and Fritz all live on the same block, house built by the same person, same size, same blueprint, same everything. But for whatever reason, my value is different from theirs. My value is not uniform to theirs. My value is different from all the other homes that look like mine, and I want to know why. The next reason why some taxpayers may want to appeal, or the next most common, is overvaluation. This just means, hey, there is no way my property is worth this much. If my property was worth this much, then I would sell it to you right now, right? And then the third most common reason why taxpayers want to appeal is incorrect property description or property description error. This just means there is a factual error and not an opinionated error. What does that mean? That means our office says that your property has 2,000 square feet, but you really only have 1,200 square feet. Or our office says your property, I don't know, has 6 apartments or less. You have a building with 6 apartments or less, but you really have a bungalow, right? So there's a factual error there. When filing an appeal with our office, it is always free, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you are going to be receiving, or you maybe, letters from tax attorneys, law firms, everybody saying that they can help you file your appeal. They will be charging you. It is not for free. There is no special code. There is no special benefit. Actually, I believe that if I do my job correctly at the end of tonight, you will feel confident enough to do this on your own. But please rest assured that you do have the right to hire an attorney to do this for you. But after tonight, I hope that you don't have to do that, that you're confident enough. Only thing you need to file an appeal is a valid email address. That's it. And you must own the property, obviously. Filing your appeal, you have 30 days to file your appeal from opening to closing. Hyde Park specifically only has 2 days left. Your township closes on Friday. When you are drafting your appeal, you can start it, you can edit it, you can save it. You can do all kinds of things. You can attach additional documentation, pictures, comparable properties if you have that, sales analysis if you have that, appraisals if you have those kinds of things. But once you submit everything, you're done. You cannot edit once it's submitted. When you are filing your appeal, you want to go to cookcountyassessor.com. You want to click on appeals and file an appeal, and then this screen will pop up. From here, if you have a home, you want to go all the way to the bottom and click CCAO, Cook County Assessor's Office Appeals 2021 Real Estate Assessed Valuation Appeal Residential with Comparable Grid. This allows you to file comparable properties with your appeal if you choose to do so. And if you have a condominium, which I'm not sure if this area has many of those or not, you want to check the second option, condo/co-op. Now, let me be clear. You do not need to provide our office with comparable PINs or comparable properties. Our office is going to do that for you. However, I understand that this is just something you may want to do. So if this is something you want to do, you can go to cookcountyassessor.com / what are comparable properties with dash marks in between. This is just a cool new tool that we have that allows you to find comparables for you. Now, when we created this and we went digital and we went online, all we did was we took the application and we digitized it. That's all we did. We actually made it look more user-friendly, in my opinion, as well. So each heading has a set of questions that you have to answer. There are no trick questions. There's nothing here to bamboozle you or to make you or trick you in any way. I do want to draw attention to two areas specifically. First one being additional PINs. This is only for those properties that have a prorated property. What does that mean? It means you have one property with multiple PIN numbers. You would know if you had a prorated property because instead of receiving 2 tax bills a year, you would get 4, 6, 8, something like that. Chances are, if you're not sure if you have a prorated property, that means you don't. Next, attachments. This is where you would attach appraisals if you had one, appeal narratives if you had one, sales analysis if you had one, additional documentation if you had some. This is where you would do all of that. Once you start your appeal, you can save it, you can edit it, you can return to it, you can do all of those things. However, once you submit, your application is done. So please don't wait till Friday to do this, guys. I think this is my 4th or 5th Hyde Park presentation. Guys, please don't be that person that waits to the very end to try to get this done, and then you make a mistake, and then you're contacting us saying, hey, what happened? You have 2 more days, guys. You have 2 more days. So your township deadline is January 21st, which is Friday, I believe. Let me double check. Pretty sure it's Friday. Yes, it is. Okay. So now, that is one way to tackle your tax bill, potentially, right? If you get a reduction in your value, you may get a reduction in your tax bill. But here is one way to get a guaranteed reduction on your tax bill, and that is filing for your exemptions, right? So we have a list of exemptions. I'm going to leave these up here for you right now, and they're super easy to qualify for. So I'm going to be using this year's information. So the tax bill that's coming out this summer, right? Because we've already paid our old tax bill. So to qualify for the homeowner's exemption, you must have owned and occupied the property January 1 of 2021. Very simple. If you owned and occupied the property January 21 of 2021, then you qualify for that exemption. Senior citizen, you must have been born in 1956 or before. If you were born in 1956 or before, then you qualify. For the senior freeze, you must have owned and occupied the property January 1 of 2020 and January 1 of 2021. Also, you must have been born in 1956 or before. For persons with disability exemption, our office has zero authority to tell you if you're disabled or not. However, we do give you an application, a P-tax form. You give that to your doctor fills it out on your behalf. Then you return it to our office, and if you meet the requirements, then you get the discount. The next exemption is my favorite exemption, is the veteran with disabilities exemption. This is for any veteran that has a service-connected disability of 30%, a rating of 30% or greater. 30 to 49%, you get X removed off your tax bill. If you are 50 to 69%, you get X removed off your tax bill. And if you are 70 to 100%, you don't pay property taxes at all unless your property is worth more than $800,000. The next one is the long time exemption. This is for anyone who owned and occupied their property January 1 of 2011 all the way through January 1 of 2021. You cannot make more than $100,000 as a total household income, and your equalized assessed value must have increased significantly depending on where you live at in the county. What the heck does that mean? Long story short, our office does an equation. We already did this math for you. Anyone that qualifies for this exemption will be receiving that application around April, May, that time frame of 2022. Only about 2% of the county actually qualifies for this exemption. So if you don't receive an application from our office, chances are you don't qualify. However, I would love to sit up here and say that our office gets this right 100% of the time, but we do not. So if you feel you qualify, I will show you how to let our office know. Lastly, the home improvement exemption. This is for anyone who pulls permits on their property to improve their property. Anything up to $75,000 you are not taxed on for 4 consecutive years. Anything greater than that is attached to your property. We want to let everybody know that our exemptions are still auto renewing for this year. So any exemption you received last year, the homeowner, the senior freeze, the disabled person, the disabled veteran, that will be auto renewed going forward this year as well. If you're not sure if you received your exemptions or not, or you're curious about what information is out available to the public on your property, you can go to cookcountypropertyinfo.com. This is a very cool website. This lets you know the tax amount history of your property. It lets you know if there's any refunds due for this property, any tax sales or delinquent bills or fees, any exemptions, any document changes, deed changes or liens, any appeal information, property characteristics of the property, all of that information can be found here. Now, what happens if you had no idea that we had exemptions and you had no idea that you qualified and you had no idea, and now you're sitting here like, dang, I wish I could have applied for these in the past? Well, the good news is we can. So as of this moment right now, as of January 19th, 2022, we can go back to 2017, 2018, 2019, and the current year. So potentially up to 4 years of savings, just depending on the situation. And all you have to do is contact our office, cookcountyassessor.com. You can DM us on Instagram or on Twitter. You can inbox us on Facebook. You can contact us a bunch of different ways, which we're going to go over in a couple minutes. But lastly, this is what your tax bill looks like. This is the second installment tax bill. The yellow bill, remember, is for when it's warmer outside. But what I want to draw your attention to is this red box under the tax calculator. This is where your discounts would be listed if you receive them. So it would say homeowner exemption, X amount of dollars, senior citizen exemption, X amount of dollars, senior freeze, disabled person, disabled veteran, returning veteran, all of those will be listed here, except for the long time. The long time is listed under important messages. That's just how the treasurer's office decided to do it. But to contact us directly, cookcountyassessor.com, or you can call us directly, 312-443-7550. After you put in your PIN number, a human being will answer the phone. The boss is right here. He can attest to that. Also, we are socially active, so you can contact us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to go into the Q&A.
Hector, it looks like we might have someone who can get the senior freeze.
We look like we in the Q&A. That's what I'm trying to get. Yep. Here we go. In the Q&A. So I'm Betty Jackson. My annual income has decreased since 2020 due to the retirement below $65,000 annually, and my eligible or for the senior freeze. So, Ms. Jackson, so income is one of the requirements. So as long as you make less than $65,000 as a total household income, that's one of the requirements. The other requirement is that you owned and occupied the property January 1 of 2020 and January 1 of 2021. So as long as you met these 3 requirements, you definitely qualify for the senior freeze. All you have to do is wait for our office. We are estimating that application will be available around March or April of 2022. Fill that out. And as long as you qualify, you will see that deduction on your second installment tax bill. Let's see what else we have here. Anonymous attendee. Come on, put your name there. Many areas other than the 10th ward are seeing a large assessment increase, which will impact their overall tax payment at a time where many people have a financial burden during this COVID period. Why such a big increase? Well, Fritz already hinted to that a little bit, but go ahead, boss.
Well, thank you for the question. The first thing to know is that we understand that if there's an assessment that's changing, especially if it's increasing, a lot of people think, oh, my taxes are increasing. increasing by the same percentage. And that's just not the case. It might feel better to have a low assessment, but if everyone else is assessed low, you could actually have a higher share of the property tax levy when your assessment is low and everyone else is low than if your assessment's higher and everyone else is assessed higher. So that's why I talked about in the presentation the importance of context. Most assessments for homeowners in Chicago, they're up in the neighborhood of 20 percentage points. 20%, that's over a 3-year period since we reassessed it last time. And the property tax base, that's total assessed value in Chicago, is up much more than that, almost double that. And so most homeowners, even though their assessment rose, their share of assessed value is lower. We can't say that definitively right now because we still have to take in appeals. We have to render a judgment on the appeals. We also, there are also appeals that happen at another stage called the Cook County Board of Review. But once they're done, then we see what the overall change in assessed value is, and then you compare that with your change in assessed value, and that gives you an idea if your tax bill is going up or not. We don't do assessments because they're fun. A lot of people think that we might like property taxes, or I like property taxes. We recognize that property taxes are regressive, and the person who asked the question is, it's timely because we know a lot of people are hurting out there. And when you're unemployed, the property tax obligation doesn't change. And that's one of the things that makes property taxes regressive. On the other hand, what we can do is make sure that your share of the total amount of property taxes that have to be collected in Chicago, which is a fixed number, is fair. And that's by making sure that not only your assessment is fair, but that everyone else's assessment is fair too. And it's not necessarily helpful if your assessment is low, but then everyone else is assessed really low too, like I said in answer to the question. And so we believe that in the reassessment this year, most homeowners share the burden is declining. I mentioned that in Chicago so far, it's down a little bit more than 10 percentage points of the total overall assessed value. And so that's a big deal. Even though the average residential assessment's up 20%, homeowners' share of the total assessed value is down 10 percentage points. So that's why you don't necessarily want to take a change in your assessment and conclude that that will result in the same change in taxes. It might result in a decrease in taxes.
That kind of leads into the next question from William. He says, why have businesses on South Chicago Avenue gone up more than 300%?
Well, not all businesses on all those streets have gone up that amount. It varies. You can go and look on our website and go and look in the valuation report for commercial properties in Hyde Park Township, in the part of that we're talking about here today. You'll see commercial properties are not up 300% overall. They are up more than homeowners properties, but they are still up not by nearly that amount. There may be individual properties that could be up more. It could possibly be due to the way that vacancy was treated in the past, and we may be treating it differently. There are a bunch of other reasons why it could be different but still be accurate. The most important thing that you can do as a commercial property owner is to make sure that, did we estimate the market value of the property fairly? If we overestimated it, if you think we overestimated the value of your property, and that is possible because we're about a little bit over 200 people trying to estimate the value of 2 million properties. This exercise is only as good as the data that we have. Sometimes we don't have the full amount of data that someone would take into account, all the information they take into account in buying your property. That is why the appeal process exists. And you get a recourse to appeal at our office. You get a process. You get 3 other venues where you can appeal: Cook County Board of Review, Illinois Property Tax Appeals Board, and the Circuit Court. These are all places where you can make sure that you have due process, making sure your assessment is accurate. And we're here to help you make sure that we get that right. I and my team, we make sure that we walk humbly. We know that property owners know their property
Absolutely.
better than we do. And if you give us information that would make us revise our opinion, we always want to take that into account. That's why the appeals process exists. Thanks for the question.
Absolutely. Kevin Morin says, if you did not receive an assessment in the mail, can you obtain a copy using the property pin? So sort of, Kevin. So what I'm going to do right now is I just sent you the link, direct link to our contact form. So all you have to do is put in your information there. That way, myself, when I'm not doing these things, I'm answering emails. So is the other part of our team. So either myself or someone from our team will jump in, and then we will be able to direct that question directly to the correct department. That way you can get a copy of this as well. The next question is from an anonymous person. You guys don't have to be scared. You can let us know who you are. If you are one of two listed homeowners was born in, okay, so the question is, if two people own the property and one of them was born in 1956 and the other one was not, can they still qualify for the exemption? Absolutely. As long as one of the people on the deed owns and occupies the property was born in 1956 or before, they definitely qualify for the exemption. Arenda says, long-time homeowner exemption, what were the qualifications? So actually what I will do is I will copy this over here. Give me a quick second. So I will tell you the qualifications, but I will also put the direct link to the qualifications in here as well. But basically, you must have owned and occupied the property for the long-time exemption, owned and occupied the property for 10 consecutive years, right? So January 1, 2011, all the way to January 1, 2021. You cannot make more than 100,000 as a total household income, and your equalized assessed value, which is your assessed value multiplied by the state equalizer, must have increased significantly, X, depending on where exactly in the county you live. That's an actual mathematical equation. So what our office does is we run the numbers, we run that equation specifically for every property that might qualify. And then if the property qualifies, we will send out the application. So I just sent you the direct link for that as well.
And Arenda, it's a really good question that you asked. A lot of people
Absolutely.
wonder, can I qualify? And unfortunately, we don't set the rules on what it takes to qualify for that exemption. The state does, the General Assembly does when they passed it. And they made that third hurdle that Hector mentioned really hard to meet. You have to have been among the top 1 or 2 percentage points of all assessed value increases in the area that you live, and that makes it very hard to qualify for. And we apologize on behalf of the General Assembly that they threw that exemption so narrowly.
The next question is from Josefina. Can I find a copy of my assessment form online? Can you find an updated value for your property? Yes. Can you find your assessment your reassessment notice online? No. So what you can do is contact us directly. I'm actually going to put that link in the chat. Give me a quick second. Copy there, minimize that, type here. I just dropped it in the chat section. It is our direct contact link. Just literally click there, and that way we can help you.
We have a question about customer service from William. If you're not getting the help that you need on the phone, try sending an email, or you can actually make an appointment online to come into the office. You can also go, a lot of you guys are, if you're all here, you're in the 10th ward, you can actually go to our branch office and set an appointment in Markham as well. We have a branch office there that may be easier for you. We're going to put some contact information here in the chat so that William, you can make sure that you're getting the service that you need right up before the deadline. Okay.
I just did that for you, boss. I put in our email contact. You can contact us directly, but I also put the link to make an appointment so he can do that directly as well. Eva says, does it give you a better chance in reduction of your property tax if you do add similar properties, or not much difference since your office will do that? Also, how do you know what to search to compare your home? All right. You want me to take this one, boss?
Yeah, take it. It's a good question. Eva had a good question.
Okay. So this is a layered question. So first thing I want to do, especially because I'm being recorded, is this is not legal counsel. This is not legal counsel. I'm going to tell you what I did. So I live in a townhome association, and there's about 8 or 9 of us. I don't really remember. And we were all appealing individually at different times, whatever. And we didn't get a favorable response. So what we did was we submitted our appeal together, and that kind of helped us. Now, your question specifically is saying, do you have to submit comparable properties? The answer is no, definitively no. Our office will do this for you. However, we understand that you might have a specific property that you want us to look at in comparing yours. That's why we have this. So if that is the case and you have a specific property you want us to look at, go ahead and submit it. Worst case scenario, absolutely nothing happens. Best case scenario, you get a reduction. Now, the second part of your question is, how much of a difference does it make? Our office is going to find comparables for you. So we're going to do that regardless. So it's not as what kind of difference does it make? It's a preference. Do you want to do the work on top of the work we are already going to provide for you, or do you want us to take care of it all? That's the question. And then the last part is, how do you know what to search to compare your home? So in the comparable link that we showed earlier, once you put in your information, it's going to narrow everything down for you and find the properties that are comparable to yours. So you don't really have to do any hard thinking when it comes to this comparable tool that we have. You literally put in your information and it narrows everything down for you. The only thing you have to do is now go through the pages and figure out which one you want to use. But again, you don't need to do that. Our office is going to do that for you. And then the last anonymous attendee says, thank you, Hector. You know what? Thank you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your willingness to be here and listen to me night in and night out, share information that despite whatever you may think, I actually enjoy doing, but I know that this can be a drag for people. Some people would much rather watch paint dry. I understand, but I love doing this. I love talking to the people, and I just love having this information and sharing it to people. So thank you so much for your kindness and your grace. I don't see any other questions, boss. I'm taking one more check really quick. No, sir, I don't see any other questions. So do you wanna salute us out, or do we want to give the floor to?
Well, first of all, Hector, thank you. Great job on the presentation. And thanks everybody for the great questions. That was a terrific group of questions. We're all, as you can see from Hector, we're really take joy in serving you. We're happy to take more questions if there's something you forgot. So you can go to our website, you can give us a call, you can reach out on social media, or send an email. We'll be attentive, we want to make sure we're serving you. And I wanted to thank Alderman Sadlowski Garza for giving us the chance to connect with you, for providing this opportunity to serve you. And I wanted to thank Sandy from Alderman Sadlowski Garza's office, who helped to make this happen. So you guys have been great partners in this. We're all happy to serve with you again, everyone here tonight. We hope to see you in person next time. Come by and visit us at the office if you make an appointment. And we really appreciate you taking the time, and we hope this has been helpful tonight.
Before we go, I just want to say thank you guys for having me. Anyone else could really be doing this, but I'm grateful that I get to do it. Boss, I'm jealous of your background.
Don't be jealous of my internet service, though. It cut us out there.
No, I'm definitely not for that. But your background is kind of cool, man. But thank you guys so much. Sandy, did you want to say anything, or?
No, I just want to thank you for being able to do this event, especially with Mr. Kagi participating, and your staff has been more than very helpful and incredibly accommodating to have this session for the 10th Ward. I greatly appreciate your assistance.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Well, without any further ado, you guys have, I don't want to keep you guys longer. You know, it is dinner time, or about to be dinner time. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for spending your evening with us. And I just hope that you learned something And I hope that you're confident and that if you want to file your appeal on your own, you have the tools to do so. And I just thank you guys, man. You guys have a